Those who have been on the channel for quite some time know my unwavering and boundless love for Balayya. And while the infamous figure from Telugu cinema has mostly featured on the channel for his Matlab Kuch Bhi moments, and I have been mostly critical of some of the themes explored in his films, especially romantically and those that defy the laws of physics, never did I imagine that Balayya will feature in a movie that is not only age appropriate but also progressive with its themes of what it wants to communicate. I had a splitting headache this year watching Veera Simha Reddy just because I could not deal with Taman's blaring background score or come to terms with the fact that Honey Rose was playing Balayya's mother. But with Bhagavanth Kesari, I went in with a clean slate and zero expectations. The film focuses on Neelakonda Bhagavanth Kesari played by Nandamuri Balakrishna, who raises Viji played by Sree Leela and trains her to eventually become an army officer. The conflict that arises in the relationship as Viji is not as passionate as her caring guardian about joining the armed forces is one of the underlying themes of the film. But the commercial action entertainer also includes the conflict that arises between Balayya and Arjun Rampal's character Rahul Sanghvi. How the movie attempts to be a star-led mass action film while at the same time intends to impart some praiseworthy social themes is basically the crux of Bhagavanth Kesari. You know what slightly makes me conflicted about a movie like this is that it actually deals with some important topics regarding the conditioning of women and breaking the social norms that always assume women to be the weaker sex. However, if the movie incorporated a more proficient team from the technical departments like cinematography, stunts, and a tighter screenplay, this could have actually been a far more proficient and talked about film than it already is. The film is marred with the standard commercial mass Telugu template action choreography that has become repetitive and exhausting at this point. The only action choreography I thoroughly enjoyed in the film is a bus sequence which has a great partnership of visuals and throwback Telugu music, which actually features a single from the 1971 film Jeevita Chakram, which starred Balayya's father NTR. There is a beautiful combination of playfulness with the lyrics while still catering to the action choreography that is really masterfully done. Most of the film, however, is just one coherent physics-defying stunt after the other. You know you are in for a Balayya ride from the first introduction sequence itself, as Balayya throws a goon, electrocuting him in the process, which in turn develops a trail of fire, and voila, the title card of our celebrated hero appears. The ironic fan within me was in for a ride, thinking this is going to be just like any other masala film. It was pleasantly not the case. But I have to say, the action in the stock sepia-ridden factory just has motorbikes doing wheelies and Balayya assembling spare parts for weapons. He does X-Game stunts with a lorry and lands perfectly while ziplining on a mere handkerchief. Just like Balayya can command a train to go back by merely pointing at it, he shuts a TV by merely showing the screen his hand. The film is told through someone narrating the story, and this character is later integrated into the screenplay where the action just takes an absurd turn. While the homage to KGF was genuinely funny, the abrupt blasts and random goons flying in the air made me genuinely think that this film was in desperate need of a better action director. From a social point of view also, it's slightly alarming. Extrajudicial killings are carried out in this film for fun and comedy purposes, and I sometimes wonder about the ramifications of showing policemen this way. I have reached the conclusion that at this stage of his career, Nandamuri Balakrishna beautifully fits the role of a caring father, and my heart was full seeing him take care of a child and wish for nothing but joy in her life. Balayya as the caring father is the 2.0 Balayya people would want to see versus a middle-aged actor still pretending to be 30 romancing young actresses. This incorporation of age-appropriate roles will be welcomed with open arms by the Telugu audience too, for those who fear that the masses only want their heroes to portray young characters. If Kamal Hassan and Rajnikant can embrace it, then why not Balayya? The best portions of the film include where Balayya interacts with Viji, motivates her and inculcates the importance of self-belief. The shock in Balayya's face at the very thought that his angel tells him to leave her alone makes you appreciate how a veteran like Balayya can actually shine if the script demands it. He commands a great hold in dramatic moments, whether it be contemplating losing connection with his daughter or when he threatens the antagonist. People say it really has to do the proficiency Balayya has in the Telangana language, but even from a person who imbibes all Telugu cinema through subtitles, I could see the conviction that a lot of you guys talk about, especially as he announces his welcome in a family that misbehaved with his daughter. It's important to acknowledge, however, that the film definitely suffers from an absolutely haphazard screenplay that is in a rush, in quick succession, establishing the main relationships of the story and comes to an irritating halt as Kajal Agarwal's character is introduced. While I can appreciate that the makers reference Balayya's age and grey hair in his romantic dynamic with Kajal, the love story is probably the dumbest portion of the film. Kajal constantly starts dialogues with a preface, "As a psychologist, and I know very well who not to go for therapy." She is head over heels for Balayya, boasts about herself on how her psychology classes made someone a 90%er. They sit under a poorly CGI'd moon and their dates are interrupted by a creep who sings Mausam Bhiga Bhiga at every instance. And it made it clear for me that the comedy of this film just doesn't work. The worst has to be a sequence where she threatens Arjun Rampal in a red sari and casually walks away after roasting him. Kajal really is a sore aspect of the film, especially her advice on patients dealing with panic attacks and PTSD should not be followed by anyone. The punchlines are delivered and repeated again and again. भेजा दो कानों के बीच में क्यों है probably 5 times. Who is the strongest? Who is the toughest? Who is the sharpest when the fickle ego of the villain gathers some confidence? The politicians are basically meme material in this movie. Caricatures who have dialogues like, "You are wrong and he is King Kong. He is bulldozer and you are water geyser." And as I previously said, the comedy just doesn't work for this film. And while I may have been critical of Taman's death-inducing score in Veera Simha Reddy, his BGM really packs the punch in this film. I can't say the same for the songs though, because they are mostly forgettable. The biggest debate, however, was whether Arjun Rampal pulled off the caricaturish, greedy businessman antagonist. And I have to say that he is far superior than many of the generic villains the Telugu film industry imports. Arjun has dubbed for this role and it's way better than one would expect. What people forget is that Arjun actually shines whenever he is challenged, either with a compelling grey role or a full-blown antagonist. It's just that his inconsistent career and peak modeling career where everybody just reduces him to be a pretty face has made people forget that he can actually deliver with his acting chops too. The film could have easily been a 2-hour film. It becomes incessantly long as Balayya does not stop giving speeches and it carries on to feature one over-the-top action scene after the other. The main hero and the villain just prolonged their final battle, which makes you think that several of its sequences could have easily been scrapped on the editing table. What comes as a great refreshing change, however, is that Balayya acknowledges his age in this film, plays the part of a caring father brilliantly, aided by a commendable performance by Sree Leela, and actually sheds light on very important social themes for women across age demographics. The only point is this film could have been so much more superior if it had a tighter screenplay and integrated better action choreography. Balayya is learning and adapting, and unlike the tagline of this film, I think he cares, bro. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Bhagavanth Kesari. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.